Speech classes in therapy continue to be underrepresented, and Waynesburg University hosted an art show.
Another mass shooting occurred earlier in the week, and Jewel is facing a costly lawsuit. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome back to the Newscast Live at 5. I'm Tim Durkin.
And I'm Rebecca Vaughn. Speech therapy classes are a necessity to many, but they're often overlooked or neglected. WCTV's Haley Ryan has more on the story.
Communication is something we all use in our daily lives. So why are speech lessons in school being criticized? An op-ed piece posted online received positive feedback after it stated that speech lessons during school are irrelevant and takes away from regular curriculum. Speech-language pathologist Amanda Ryan, who has worked 12 weeks in a school with children who struggle with their speech, thinks otherwise.
It impacts them daily, all the time, whether it's academically, whether it's in social situations, whether it's in their home, communicating their wants and needs.
The effects of leaving these issues untreated can
affect them academically down the line, whether it's in reading and writing, how they interact socially with their peers.
Shauna Steck, a 2020 high school graduate, dealt with speech lessons almost her entire schooling career.
She taught me different strategies to prevent my stuttering from happening, or it doesn't go away. So she taught me ways I could cope with it better.
For those who do not struggle with these speech issues, it is very easy to undermine the benefits.
I can understand how someone might think, it doesn't affect me, so, is it necessary? But from what I've seen in just a short 12 weeks, it's completely necessary for the children who are struggling with it.
If you ask anybody who has been through speech lessons, they can tell you that it does help, that it does work.
Although not as popular with those who do not experience speech struggles, speech will forever be a critical part of education.
For WCTV, I'm Haley Ryan.
Waynesburg University is committed to faith, learning, and especially service. Some students volunteer at a local church to help the needy. Madeline Verhoff has more.
Faith, learning, and serving. 3 criterion Waynesburg University lives by. And part of serving looks like this. Every Tuesday, students squeeze into the kitchen in the bottom of St. Anne's Catholic Church to cook a hearty meal and serve their community. Logan Wilson, the previous site manager, has been serving here for...
I've been here this is my 4th year. I'm a senior, so I've been here since freshman year.
He keeps coming back because...
the interaction with the community. You really get to interact with some interesting people.
Interesting people like Bob, a regular attender and worship leader, who never misses an opportunity to use his talent.
I love to sing because I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And the Lord gave me a talent, He gave me a talent to use for His voice to sing for Him.
It's hard not to smile when you come here.
It's smiles like these that keep students and community members coming back. Reporting in Waynesburg, I'm Madeline Verhoff on Channel 14 News.
Waynesburg University has been holding an art show in the Skylight Room of the Eberly Library. WCTV's Micah Leith reports.
It's a family tradition.
I began wanting to honor my father, who passed away 7 years ago.
And it's finally all come together.
I had an exhibit of his work and my work side by side. But this actually at Waynesburg is the first time that his painted, beautiful work is shown.
For artist Joni Zavitzano's Byzantine art runs in the family.
He came over from Greece. He was artistic. His father was artistic. His grandfather was artistic.
And she has done it all her life.
I worked in his studio with him. I was a little girl, and he would put blank sheets of paper on the floor and colors and whatever and tell me to create whatever I wanted.
Zavitzano's art combines the old with the new, making a modern collage.
A few years ago, I became interested in doing a takeoff of the ancient image.
Byzantine art is characterized by several factors. Long faces and hands tell the story.
These haloed figures and the kind of somber colors and the elongated figures.
The main aspect, though, the religious side.
You don't say that he paints them. You say they're written, because they are the written visual of the Gospels and of the stories that are in Scripture.
For WCTV, I'm Michael Leith.
That's all for local news. When we come back, we'll have news from around the nation.
This is producer Caleb Yager, and you are watching The Buzz.
Hello and welcome back to the newscast, live at 5. We have a new graphic look tonight in Monday's deadly bank shooting in Louisville. Body cam video from the 2 police officers shot and injured by the gunman. For 3 long minutes, they stayed in their line of fire until their shootout killed the attacker. Emily Schmid has more on the actions of the officers' colleagues say most certainly saved others' lives. A warning, this video shows violence and is disturbing.
At 8:41 Monday morning, Officer Nicholas Wilt, who graduated from the police academy 10 days earlier, pulls up to the Old National Bank with his training officer Corey Galloway beside him.
These officers unflinchingly answered the call to protect and their duty to serve.
The officers couldn't see the gunman, later identified as Connor Sturgeon, who had already shot colleagues in the bank, then moved to the lobby concealed by double glass doors, waiting for police. Galloway is hit, so is Wilt, out of view, one step behind.
God, don't have an angle!
For 3 long minutes, the tension and danger build.
It feels like eternity to watch. You can only imagine how it felt for them.
Then, more shots.
I think he's down!
Confirmation the shooter is hit. First responders rescue Officer Wilt and rush to help the victims inside the bank. Their injuries were so bad, the hospital's chief medical officer says they needed 170 units of blood.
They did absolutely exactly what they needed to do to save lives. Once officers arrived on scene, not another person was shot.
Still, 5 bank employees died, and a community mourns. Yet police say their colleagues kept a horrible day from being even worse by facing the danger and taking action.
What you saw in that video was absolutely amazing. It's tragic, but it's absolutely amazing.
I'm Emily Schmidt, reporting.
Not quite rodent royalty here in the U.S. New York City has hired its first ever rat czar. On Wednesday, New York's mayor announced Kathleen Karate will be the city's director of rodent mitigation. Her job will be to find, quote, innovative ways to cut off rats' food sources in the city, as well as use technology to detect and exterminate rat populations, end quote. Karate will work with other city agencies to do the work, including departments of health and mental hygiene, parks and recreation, and sanitation. She previously served as Queens' director of space planning for the city's Department of Education. No one knows exactly how many rats infest New York City, but a 2014 study estimated the population sat at around 2 million. Rodents pose a serious public health challenge, including the risk of food contamination and the spread of diseases.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is looking to the future of COVID-19 as the country enters a new phase in the pandemic. A senior administration official says DHS is launching a $5 billion investment to help develop new types of vaccines and treatments. It's called Project NextGen. The government is looking to get ahead of the rapidly evolving coronavirus. Researchers hope the next generation of vaccines can shut down the infection before it ever gets the chance to make anyone sick. This comes as the public health emergency for COVID-19 is set to end on May 11th.
A popular e-cigarette maker has agreed to pay out millions of dollars to settle a lawsuit accusing the company of deceptive advertising. Monday, West Virginia's Attorney General announced the state had settled its lawsuit with Juul Labs. The company will pay a total of $7.9 million to the state after it accused Juul of using unfair and deceptive practices in the ads and marketing for its products. The lawsuit accused Juul of misleading consumers about the nicotine strength in its products and of targeting teenagers through social media by using celebrities, popular bloggers, and influencers. In a statement, Juul said that the settlement was, quote, another step in its ongoing commitment to resolve issues from the company's past.
Vice President Kamala Harris will hold an interagency task force meeting on reproductive rights at the White House Wednesday. It comes as the Biden administration is set to propose a new rule aimed at protecting the privacy of women seeking abortions. The policy would prohibit the disclosure of protected health information by regulated entities such as health insurance companies, providers, and others, specifically in regards to an investigation against a person who either seeks, obtains, or provides reproductive services. A senior administration official says the proposed policy would take existing guidance a step further. Right now, the guidance protects the privacy of patients under certain circumstances, but officials say they found some providers fearful about following the rule when subpoenaed.
The Shelby County Board of Commissioners in Memphis voted Wednesday to reappoint Justin Pearson to the Tennessee House of Representatives. The vote returns Pearson to his seat. It comes 2 days after the Nashville Metropolitan Council did the same thing for Justin Jones. The State House expelled both Pearson and Jones from their seats last Thursday after they led a protest seeking gun reform in the Capitol. Gloria Johnson, who is also a Democratic representative and joined the two men in the demonstration on the House floor, was not expelled. Tennessee's House came under fire for ousting Pearson and Jones, who are both black, but not Johnson, who is white. That's all for national news. When we come back, Aaron Lang has your business and entertainment update. But first, Logan Lepisco is outside with your update on the weather.
Shorts and t-shirts have become a fashion trend for Waynesburg University students recently, but they should not quite put away those jeans and sweatshirts. Stay tuned for the rest of the forecast.
Hello and welcome back to the newscast. I'm Erin Lang and this is your business and entertainment update. Some positive economic news. U.S. annual inflation has fallen to the lowest level since May 2021. A new report out Wednesday found U.S. consumer prices are continuing to cool down. One economist says prices for some sectors are not moving in a favorable direction. Patrick Cornell has more in today's Consumer Watch.
A step forward in the ongoing battle over rising prices. A new Bureau of Labor Statistics report out Wednesday shows U.S. annual inflation is down to the lowest level since May 2021, but economists are cautiously optimistic.
There's a lot of things that are hitting consumers that are still showing a very elevated level of inflation.
It shows consumer prices rose in March by 5% year over year. That's down from 6% in February, and it marks the 9th straight month of slowing inflation. The rate of price increases has been cooling since it hit a 4-decade high last summer. Economists say the real challenge for consumers is that the rate is still a long way away from the Federal Reserve's target, which could signal more action from the Fed may be ahead.
That's why the debate around the Fed is about, well, how long time is it now going to take before we will get inflation all the way down to their 2% target.
And the main issue is that core inflation, which strips out food and energy costs. Those numbers remain high. They're up 5.6% year over year. That means higher rents, housing, and other costs.
If you look at cost of transportation, that went up. If you also look at airline ticket prices, also went up. If you look at the cost of housing, still very elevated.
The latest report is adding to the debate around what the Fed will do at their next meeting, either pause interest rate hikes or increase them to further cool down the overheated economy. For Consumer Watch, I'm Patrick Cornell.
The next Federal Reserve meeting is scheduled for May 2nd. The nation's largest bank is calling senior managers back into the office. JP Morgan Chase issued a memo saying the top brass needs to be visible and available to meet with clients. Wall Street giants have some of the most vocal proponents of demanding workers return to offices full-time. There's no reliable metric for exactly how many companies are continuing with fully remote or hybrid situations. One report indicates average office occupancy in major cities is still less than half of pre-pandemic levels. A big motivation for JP Morgan could be that all the money it is sinking into the new 60-story headquarters in New York. It's slated to open in 2025. Most employees will continue to be only required to report to the office 3 days a week. The Super Mario Brothers movie turned the popular video game franchise into a blockbuster animated film, and now it's got a viral music video. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
You're so cool, and with my star we're gonna rule.
Jack Black pours his heart out, or rather his Super Mario Bros. Movie character Bowser's heart out, in Peaches, a love ballad for Bowser's unrequited crush, Princess Peach. The music video has more than 5 million views on YouTube in just a few days. The movie's soundtrack is available now on digital, and a special vinyl 7-inch single is due out later this year. Flashdance is 40. Director Adrian Lyne's 1983 romantic drama dazzled audiences with its music, dance sequences, and young star Jennifer Beals, even if critics weren't as impressed.
But what was lovely was that people would ring me up and say, well, you know, they're dancing in the aisles, in the movie theaters, you know, in like Times Square or wherever.
Flashdance wound up the third highest grossing movie of the year. To mark its 40th anniversary, the film is out for the first time on 4K Ultra HD. What a feeling. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
There is a new streaming kid on the block, sort of. It's called Max. At its core, it's a rebranding of the existing HBO Max. But it also adds content from HBO's new parent company. Warner Media merged with Discovery last year to form Warner Brothers Discovery. When it did, it brought more content brands under one umbrella. Max will offer content from properties including HBO, HDTV, Food Network, Cartoon Network, and TLC. It is scheduled to maintain HBO Max's current price point of $15.99 per month and launches on May 23rd. The service will also offer a cheaper option with advertisements and a more expensive option with 4K video and Dolby Atmos sound. Warner Brothers Discovery hopes to gain 130 million subscribers by 2023. The largest streaming service, Netflix, currently has more than 230 million subscribers. That's all for business and entertainment. Up next is Austin Bechtold with the latest in Waynesburg sports.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the second floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
Hi everyone, I'm Austin Bechtold here with your Jacket Sports Update. The Waynesburg University baseball team hosted Westminster yesterday for what turned out to be very exciting matchups. Bryce Badillion and Seth Bergdahl got the offense going early. The duo scored the first 2 runs of action in the bottom of the first to put the Yellow Jackets ahead. Freshman Gavin Pratt started on the mound for Waynesburg and pitched 3 scoreless innings to start the ballgame before allowing a 6 spot in the 4th. Waynesburg would not go away though. Trailing by 2 in the bottom of the 8th, Lane Hours hit a solo home run to cut the deficit in half. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, Bryce Badillion smacked an opposite field home run to tie the game at 6 and send it into extras. The Jackets' magic would not last as Westminster scored 3 runs off of Dalton Lucy in the 10th and ultimately defeated Waynesburg 9-7. The Yellow Jackets continued its offensive output though into Game 2, scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the first with 2 driven in on a double from Hours. He doubled once again in the 5th to bring home Badillion, following a Marcos Mendez sac fly. Leading 5-2, Gavin Pratt put the game out of reach 1 batter later with a 2-run shot and provided all the run support needed for starter Ethan Earhart. Earhart allowed 1 earned run over 8 strong innings to power Waynesburg to a 7-2 victory. The team is 8 games under 500, but 6-6 in PAC play, and will face first place Washington and Jefferson on Saturday in a road doubleheader beginning at 1 p.m. Softball continued its PAC dominance Wednesday at Bethany. 5 players drove in a run during an 8-0 win in just 6 innings. Bryn Hunter, Grace Higgins, and Ella Brookman recorded 2 hits. Sydney Wilson pitched another complete game shutout and has only allowed 2 earned runs in her last 55 innings inside the circle. Wilson allowed 3 hits, 4 walks, and hit 2 batters, but never allowed the Bison to cross home plate. She paired with Autumn Stemple in Game 2 as both worked over 3 innings to secure a 5-2 win. Jasmine Damaski hit her first collegiate home run in the 4th, a 3-run shot to give Waynesburg a 4-1 advantage, and Higgins also drove in a run. Emily Barker also scored on an error to provide enough offense for the dynamic pitching duo. Hunter, Higgins, and Kayla Gratton all recorded 2 knocks as the Yellow Jackets posted 10 total hits. The defending conference champs are 21-3 overall and undefeated in PAC play at 10-0. They will return home Saturday against Geneva beginning at 1 p.m. The golf team is currently competing at Bethany today at the Greene County Country Club, while women's golf will be in action on Saturday at Westminster before the PAC Spring Championships begin next weekend. Men's tennis looks for its first win of the season today and is currently competing as well at St. Vincent. Women's tennis began the day's play at 3:30. Members of the esports team will participate in singles competition for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Friday beginning at 6 p.m. Rocket League will follow right after against Lebanon Valley to close the regular season. The League of Legends squad defeated Misericordia University 2-1 last night as well, for the esports team continuing on a hot streak. Outdoor men's and women's track and field will be competing at Bethany on Saturday, while lacrosse aims for its first PAC win of 2023 against Bethany on Senior Day at John F. Wiley Stadium. The program will honor 8 departing seniors after winning its first home game since 2015 in the first game of the season. For WCTV Sports, I'm Austin Bechtold.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Good evening, everyone. As Austin Bechtold said, my name is Logan Lepiscopo, and this is your full weather forecast for the week. It is currently 80 degrees in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and tonight the temperatures will drop down into the 50s. Tomorrow the sun will go back behind the clouds, but temperatures will remain in the high 70s. Again, the temperature into the night will drop down into the 50s. Saturday, the sun will stay tucked away and the clouds will pour down rain on Waynesburg with a 50% chance of precipitation. The low for the night being in the mid-50s. Sunday, the sun will pop back out from behind the clouds as we will have a partly sunny day with a high of 80 degrees. The clouds will take back over, however, as Monday there will be another chance for rain and temperatures will see a significant drop-off down into the 50s. Tuesday, the rain will go, but the clouds will stay as the forecast calls for a cloudy day, and the highs reaching just 48 degrees. To round out your forecast for the week, Wednesday, the temperatures will slightly rise back up, high 50s. And Sunday will resurface with a partly cloudy day. With the fluctuation in weather over the week, I would hold off on packing away those winter clothes and leave them out just for a little longer. Again, I'm Logan Episcopo, and this has been your full weather update.
That's all for this edition of the Newscast. Be sure to catch all of our previous episodes on WCTV's YouTube channel or watch live at 5 on Channel 14. As a reminder, we will not be having another episode next week due to the Dodge for a Difference charity event on April 20th. When we return, it will be for the final episode of the Newscast for the year. Thank you for watching and take care.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.